Well, hey. What's happening out there, folks? What is happening? Peace in, peace in. Well, welcome to another edition of On the Cutting Room Floor. You know where you know where we podcasting and broadcasting from. You know, the southwest part of Sacramento, Greenhaven pocket area. So I'm your host, Tony Ray Harvey. Let's get right down into it. Okay, the Sacramento Kings, they expanded their monumental winless streak to 14 after enduring an agonizing 121-93 defeat to Utah Jazz at the Delta Center on February the 10th. It's the last game before the All-Star break, so they officially are into the All-Star break activities. I'm sure that they'll be flying back to Sacramento. They got their tickets ready, and they're ready to head out to whatever destination separately as they please, as they so desire. And they do need a break. Matter of fact, I think everyone in the Sacramento region need a break from this team. It has really been a difficult season thus far. And they have 26 more games to go. As a matter of fact, they will be back at Golden One Center on February the 19th to take on the Orlando Magic. Then they start a 5-game road trip. Wow. It just don't stop. But at least they get some mental and physical peace until that time. So we're talking about a good, give or take, 8 days. 8 to 9 days, if however you want to factor that in. But is about to happen. They have lost a 14th straight game, which is a franchise record. So that is the worst futile effort of away games in the history of the team, the franchise. Now, I don't know, the Kings, this organization that has begot one team to another team to another team, been around for 100 years, a little over 100 years. I would say 102 years. I think they started as the New Jersey Seagrams or something like that, back east. But when they entered the association, they entered them as the Cincinnati Royals and 1948. So I don't know if that's with the association or it extends all the way back to 100 years. I don't know, but we're going to stick with the association. This is a franchise record of 14 straight games. They have not won a game in the last 16 tries on the road this season since December 5th, beating the Miami Heat. Have to recap that out. Matter of fact, they don't have to worry about that for a while. They just need to get a win on the road. They need to get a win anyway because there was a time when they lost like 43 straight games, I want to say, over two seasons on the road. So they don't have to worry about, but they do need to get a victory here because what we're talking about as far as development, all right, developing them and showing them how to win. Of course, you want to teach them the NBA game of basketball. No problem there. All the ins and outs and the ons and offs and lefts and right. Know this. But when I hear things like this, coming from younger players, that this is the most losing that I have, it's like, whoa. Okay, welcome to basketball hell. And it is basketball hell. I'm not even going to, shortstop there. Okay. No disrespect to General Manager Scott Perry. No disrespect to Doug Christie, head coach. And no disrespect to the Doug Christie coaching staff. No disrespect to, that whole basketball operation on down the line. But welcome to basketball hell if you don't understand what's going on here. All right? Definitely don't want to plant that seed in a conversation with these younger players. But hey, this is what it is. This is what it is. And we already knew that this season was not going to be the best of seasons, but not this bad. Not this bad. But that's exactly what this is. So we just have to deal with it while it is. I have to cover, give or take, 26 more games, all of them, whether it's on the road or at home. And, of course, I will be there for their home games for the rest of the season. I think they have about 14 of them left. But their first 6 games, 5 of them are going to be away. This is what you have to deal with. Okay, some of these players. I know we had spoken to Neek Clifford. About these things. Neek done played what 57 games thus far, I would say, or close to it. Well, he's already put in 2 seasons already, and one. in in one season, if he was still playing in college basketball. Of course, he's way beyond that. He is a professional, and he has to understand. And he has to understand, like the rest of them, where they, their status right now with this ball club, and they are developing, no doubt about that. Okay, Devin Carter started tonight for the first time. He had 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, or something like that, which is good because he earned that. And it's good that we're getting to see him. Still a little, sketchy about him being a point guard or a lead guard, but the young man can play some basketball, no doubt about it. Okay, he can play some basketball. So basically, this is like his rookie year. I know he didn't get that much time, before the trade deadline, but he's getting it now. So let's see if we can see more of him. Isaiah Stephen got some tick tonight on the floor. I'd like to see that too. He's definitely a quality point guard. He's been playing down in the G League along with Daquan Plowden. I really like Plowden. I really do see some stuff right there on both ends. If he get a chance, he will light it up. He will light it up on the offensive end, and he's definitely a powerful force on the defensive end. So I'm liking what I'm seeing from him, and hopefully he get more tick as well, in those last 26 games. I don't think these guys are in jeopardy of running up on that 50-game mark because they didn't play that much at the beginning of the season anyway. And I am talking about Plowden and Isaiah Stephen. We may even see another G-Leaguer from the Stockton Kings come up, We'll see, because I do remember Daquan Plowden, and he was really confident in what he said a few games ago. He said any one of them cats down there at Stockton King can come up here and help this ball club. Like to hear that. Because they are being developed in the right way down there anyway. So if they get an opportunity, to put on a Kings uniform, a Sacramento Kings uniform, that's all the merrier. I know it's been a tough season, get a little run there. So we'll just recap, this loss a little bit later, because it was put up on the screen. And I'm going to say this as well, too, because, Kyle Draper, Katie Christensen, and tonight it was Mark Jones and Katie Christensen, have been doing a absolutely great job trying to keep us engaged in these losses. I have to give it to them. They have a lot of information on both teams, which I really, really do like, because I know what they do, before the game and what they do after the game, when they're preparing themselves. And as far as going to the opposing teams, and getting information there so they can blend it in, with their broadcast. So, hey, but with these losses, I have to give them up to them, because otherwise I would not watch these games to the end. Period. And this game was over in the first quarter. It definitely was. So have to give it up to them. Now, it was flashed up on the screen, the NBC Sports Bay Area, that New Orleans Pelicans, Washington Wizards, no. New Orleans Pelicans, the Indiana Pacers, okay, I want to say the Indiana, and New Orleans. Wait a minute, no, that wasn't it. So New Orleans, Sacramento Kings, and I do want to say the Washington Wizards have a 14% chance, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, it is the Washington Wizards, of getting the first pick in the 2026 NBA draft. 14%, each of them, okay? But let's understand that we have seen teams, under that, zoom ahead of them and get that slot. So we're looking at, some top crop players, from a crop of great players right now on the collegiate scene, okay? With the Darren Petersons, okay, Cam Boozer, Caleb Wilson, and definitely A.J. DeBonsa, because he was at that game tonight. If you were watching the game, he was sitting sideline. he's been lighting it up the last few weeks. I know Darren Peterson, I guess he's being called out about the way this thing is being handled. I think he was sick in that last game when Kansas beat Arizona, knocked them out. I don't know if they're gonna knock them out of number one spot in the country because that was their first loss, and it was to Kansas. And they beat them in Kansas at the field house. Yes, they did. But Darren, he has been getting a lot of flack about in and out of these games, which look, he number one pick as far as I'm concerned. Okay, unless that changes, if they get more information about his medical condition or anything else like that, or it's going to be AJ DeBonsa. AJ DeBonsa seems a little bit more solid to me right now because, and I'm just saying this too because I listening to Alan Stiles on the radio show last week when we were talking about how Kansas was sending three players out to Darren Peterson, AJ DeBonsa in that game. All right. It's like, hey, we're not letting you get off. The rest of them can do what they do. They can do their thing. But you, AJ DeBonsa, that's not happening. He still had about 17, 18 points in that game. But it's really going to be a deep draft. And we're definitely going to be paying attention to it, for these last 26 games because, now they're in the middle of conference play, most of these teams anyway, top teams. And we're getting close to a March. What you know is March Madness. So they'll be having conference tournaments coming up, and then they will have the big dance, and then we'll see what the tournament bids, how they play out. And we will see how these players perform on the big stage. All right. And I know that something that came up about, I had a discussion about one of the Illinois players, the freshman, Keaton Wagler, about 6'6", 180-pound swing guard. And he can't play the point guard. He came in as a shooting guard, but he can't play the point. And I think he did that when he was in his high school days outside of Kansas City, Shawnee Mission, and where he won two state championships. And if I'm not mistaken, he come from a family of champions. Okay? From his mom, his dad, and his brother and his sister, they've been in a lot of situations where they have won a lot of games too. So basically what I'm saying here, that 1 through 5 or 1 through 6, 7 pick, he's going to fall in that slot if he comes out next season, and it looked like he will because the way I was seeing, with Yakuchonis and Will Riley, who played for the Washington Wizards, Conspiracy played for the Miami Heat. They came out as freshmen, and they should have came out as freshmen. Okay, but this guy's a little further along. Keaton Wagler is a little further along that he could come out. Be perfectly honest, and no disrespect to Scott Perry, Doug Christie, anybody. Definitely not the fans. I don't want him in the Sacramento Kings uniform. I'm not seeing that. I'm cool with that. They got some work to do with this organization. I know Scott got to tear it down and go, a different direction. I hope the Kings do get the top 3 pick, especially the first pick. And I don't think that's going to be Keaton Wagler unless he bust out and hit another level, which I believe that he can. He's only 18, 19 years old, before his collegiate season is out. All right. But he's coming along strong. But then, you're looking at, we got this Kingston Fleming from Houston, the other freshman down there in Arizona. Okay. And they also got a nice little power forward, Koa Pete. I went to school with Koa Pete's dad. Okay. One of his Koa's brother is already playing for the Saints. I think maybe he's not playing for the New Orleans Saints. He was an offensive guard, like his dad was. His dad used to play for the Los Angeles Raiders and the Oakland Raiders for that period. But he finished his career in Phoenix. That's where that family is. He looks nice too. As I mentioned, with Kingston Fleming, there's some pretty good. It's a great crop of freshmen out there and undergraduates that we should see in the season. I telling Marcus Smith for USA Today, and someone else too, we're going to see a player picked in the second round, maybe a couple players picked in the second round that's obviously going to be missed, that they're going to make some contribution to their NBA teams next season. That's how I see it. They said the draft in 2027 is not going to be as hot or deep as this one. So this is the one to look for. Of course, I'm looking for Keaton Wagler to go high. Should he come out? Should he declare for the draft, which I think that he will. But go to Denver. Go to the Wizards. Shoot, go to the Heat. All right? I don't care. Go to the Phillies. Go to Chicago. I don't think they're going to do that anyway. They just traded away one of their Illinois players to Minnesota, Io DeSumo. But anyway, go somewhere where it can happen right away. And I'm talking about the stability of the organization. It's not time to deal with this right now. And I also was talking to Marcus Smith, another thing too, which he checked it out for me. Okay. Since the Kings have been here in Sacramento, they have made the playoffs 11 times. 11 times. That's in 41 years, because they came here in 1985. I know when I first got here, they hadn't made the playoff. Okay, they made the playoff the first time they came here when they relocated from Kansas City, Kansas to the West, Sacramento. 11 times. Okay, then they had that little streak from 1999 to 2006, during the Adelman years. All right, they didn't go back to the playoffs until recently, and that was done, helped, supported, engineered, guided by Mike Brown when he was the head coach, and they ain't been back. They have not been back. There's a cloud over this franchise, a dark cloud, not a black cloud, a dark cloud. And that darkness could be any type of color as far as I'm concerned. Okay? There's a cloud over this franchise, and I don't know. I'm not laying the blame on anyone, but it hasn't been handled well. I'd like to hear more from the owner right now, Vivek Ranadive, to get his ideas of, what he want to see going forward. A lot of things, that they say that's behind him has not happened. It has not materialized. So what are you going to do? What are you going to do? How you see this going? Okay. I think you got a nice little, group going on right now. If you believe in them, okay. Scott Perry and all, it's going to take a little time. It's going to be patient. It's going to be that. I know the Kings fans don't want to hear that, but it is. But hey, and for all I know, how do you don't know that any one of these other players who get drafted by the Kings don't want to come here? Because their agents are already going to tell them what the situation is. They're not going to turn down the money. I know, he played tonight. He had 13 points for Utah. He wasn't interested in going to Utah, but he went there, and they made sure that they got him. And I'm sure the Kings would do the same well, too, because you're going to play here for the next 4 years. That's what they're saying. We have your rights. Okay, we got a lot of money on the table. Okay, you got a package deal of about $40 million. I think he was drafted number 4, number 5, or more. But how do you know if somebody else just say, "Hey, no, I'm going to force a trade"? I don't know. I'm not trying to put go all in and stuff like that. I don't want to be superficial about the whole thing, but no. If Keaton Wagler from Illinois is up on that board and the Kings are picking, please select someone else. I'm serious. Look, and I've said this too. I've come from an area where we didn't just have one show in town. Okay. Of course, we had collegiate program. Okay. In the Big Ten. Been in the Big Ten forever. Over 100 years. Okay. The school, University of Illinois, started in 1867. But I know when I was growing up, we supported everything that went on at campus. Okay. I'm watching rugby. I'm watching ice skating, baseball, and softball on the women's side. Of course, basketball, men and women. Okay. Football. I've seen fencing. I done stood out in the snow watching Illinois players playing Michigan and rugby. I done seen this stuff. Okay. The feeling is Totally different because we support everything, okay? I know when I wear Illinois stuff, I'm representing that whole thing, the whole state of Illinois, to be exact, okay? This is my home. I've been living here for 38 years. I love Sacramento. Don't get that wrong, okay? I chose to live here, and I'm still living here, all right? I remember when Eddie Johnson was drafted out of Illinois to go play for the Kansas City Kings. I followed him. Well, I followed him in high school, and I followed him while he, through his collegiate career. Okay, Illinois beat Magic Johnson that year that they won the title. Yeah, I'm breaking it down to you, but what I'm saying is, I have been following his career after they drafted him to Kansas City Kings. 85, he lands here in Sacramento. Then my eyes and my ears are on Sacramento. And then I moved here in 1988. All right. And to be exact, which is now his wife, I believe he's still married. I used to work with her at the original Pancake House. Eddie used to come in there every Monday to eat pancakes because that all you can eat pancake night. Monday was our slowest day. So they come up with these type of promotions and things like that, to bring in college students and everyone else. And that's what they did. And they used to come in there. And I only worked with her about like a few months and stuff. But I remember when he got drafted. All right. And then I follow this. I'm in Sacramento, Sacramento in 1988. He was still here right before he got traded to Phoenix. And I've been on this ever since. So I've been supporting this team. Okay. Through all this losing and stuff like that. And this singular, one dynamic, one dimensional thing of the fascination that the fans have on this ball club, and they should. Okay, and what they went through to keep the team here in Sacramento 13, 14 years ago, what they went through. I'm about that, but I am not interested in the Kings drafting Keaton Walker because now he's getting a lot of attention right now. Man, he scored 17 points the other day in that loss against Michigan State. All right. He had a poor shooting night. But one thing that I learned about Keaton Wagler, and I was watching this most of this game with Brandon Benitez, CBS 13 sports reporter and anchor. Keaton Wagler, he can get his shot, and he can get to the basket, and he draws a lot of fouls. He make a processional every time getting to that foul line. This kid is gifted. And he's going to get better, too. He can shoot from the logo. Play some pretty good defense, too, because they were down by 6 points. He hit a three-pointer, okay? And then he get a steal on the pass, inbound pass, and got it off to, I think it was David Merkovich. He tried to get a three-point shot off. He almost got it, okay? That would have tied the game off. It was already in overtime. It would have been 85-85. But Illinois lost. Cool. They lost the other night, to the Wisconsin boy. At home, too. But they're officiating. Anyway, you don't have to worry about Keaton Wagler. Keep your eyes on everything else that's going on here. But anyway, look here. Thanks for stopping in for another episode of On the Cutting Room Floor. I do have some stats, from tonight's game, but I don't really think that I'm going to get into it. We'll start recapping again once the season resumes back next week. I think their first practice might be February the 18th. That'll be the Wednesday, and then they play the next night against the Orlando Magic before they embark on a 5-game road trip. But I do want to thank you for stopping in. I don't care if it's 10, 15, 20, 25, 50, 60 people who turns in and view this. I appreciate your time. I will be back. And I do hope that the Sacramento Kings finish the season off in the right way. Peace, love, and happiness. I'm out.